What's up, YouTube? It's the youngest chief, and today I just want to talk about something that's been on my heart a lot lately. Um, when I first came to this is gonna be hard for me to talk about honestly, because I've been holding back for a long time. Just uh, because fears and just how others would perceive me. I don't know. That's mostly what the fears were about, is just how people would react, especially with all the dense energies going on when COVID started and all that. I felt like wasn't a good time. Yeah, during COVID, I felt like just wasn't the right time to express this information. But I feel like now is a good time to talk about it. And but I don't know. So I'll try my best to be. Yeah, I'll just try my best to explain. So I've known for quite some time that my soul is very sacred. I've known for quite some time that I'm the twin brother of the Hopi prophecy, the Native American prophecy. I know my soul goes all the way back to ancient Egypt times. Like, I have a royal bloodline, and it's just crazy to think about. I'm not sure how this even like came about. I'm not even sure how like this happened, but it did. And I'm just thankful that I have this connection close to source, and I just thank source every day for just my sacred soul. It's just pure beauty. But I'll explain how I got to this conclusion. So I'm very much into, well, first, if you don't know what the Hopi prophecy is, I recommend going to listen to that first to have a better understanding of what I'm about to explain. But basically in the Hopi prophecy, it talks about an older brother going starting from the west. So I mean starting from the east. An older brother cycles around the earth, um, leaving around just things that the younger brother just he would leave items around the earth that the twin was supposed to recognize and collect those items and basically bring them back to the tribe, and then the tribe would know who the twin brother is, right? So I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of studying my whole life. I want to say, these past 4, 5 years maybe, I've just been hardcore studying every single day, like learning, learning, learning. I fall asleep to books about metaphysics and the spiritual world, and just I just love like knowledge, and I just love learning, and I just always have. But I love learning about history and culture and different cultures and how they lived and what their thoughts were, or you know, or what their practices were like, and all that type of stuff. It just fascinates me because, without our ancestors and all the work that they put in, we wouldn't be like where we are today. And it's just we can't forget our history, and it's something that has always. So the first thing that caught my attention was just the Egyptian gods and goddesses, the Egyptian dynasty. That was just the first thing that just stuck to me. And back when I had my psychosis in whatever 2000, whenever 2016, 2018, I think maybe. I seen this vision that so basically during my psychosis it felt like my soul was not on this planet, but I was in control of my soul, just not in my physical body, right? So when I was in my psychosis, I seen this vision and I heard this voice that said that there was a message waiting for me in the Egyptian pyramids. And then I looked into it. Like I told all the people around me that when I was in my psychosis, and like they like laughed at me, thought it was funny, thought it was like, man, he's crazy, he's this, he's that, he's whatever, right? But to me, my soul knew where I was, and I was being shown how far my soul goes back. So I looked into it, and I looked into what was a buddy of mine told me what was in the pyramids, and it was the Emerald Tablets written by Thoth, right? The Emerald Tablets is the book. It's like the original commandments of how law works on planet Earth. Not just planet Earth, the whole universe. We all follow the same cycles. We all follow the same law. No one's above law. And there's 10 of them, but I mean only, I shouldn't say that, but there's 10 cosmic laws in how things work. But once I figured out that that's what was in the pyramids waiting for me, I just like broke down and started crying and just like speechlessness. I was just blown away by like what I was just being told. So then after that, I started researching more and more about the gods and the roles they played, and then I started looking into other cultures as well. And then started looking into prophecies by Nostradamus. And Nostradamus, his last or his like ending prophecies of the he predicted that the world would end in around 2042. But he also predicted that communism would spread from the east all the way to the west, and that's when the world would be over, right? Right. I'm seeing things a little differently. See, like the Hopi prophecy talks about a time period when there's the potential for the world to end, right? But Native American folklore in their myths and legends talks about a time when each culture and civilization and dynasty, so it's the seeds, it's like the five seeds, or I think it's five, it's either five or seven. But when the creator created the earth, he planted 5 seeds, right? And each seed grew to be its own thing. And they got to pick which seed would fruit first and have its time to do its thing or to show like the world like what it's about, you know what I mean? So the legend goes that the Hopi got the first pick of the order that they wanted to germinate basically. And the Hopi decided that they would choose to fruit at the very last, at the end. They would let all others go before them, right? So it goes like this basically. The Chinese had their dynasty first in the East with like they had a lot of dynasties. And then there was the Indian dynasty and then the Egyptian and then the Greek and Roman. Wait, how many is that? The Chinese, India, Greek and Roman. Yeah, that's four. So, oh wait, no, no, yeah, the Greek and Rome is combined together, and then I'm thinking about the England dynasties and the monarchs, right? So there's been four dynasties so far, right? The part that gets to the exciting part for the Native Americans and the Hopi prophecy is that after our culture has faced almost genocide, my culture has, our spirit has been broken down as much as it possibly could. And that's why it is like so difficult. But there's a reason why they were trying to break the Native American spirit. It's because the Native Americans know how spirit works, how energy works, and how we are all connected. And in the beginning of like the days, the world was about dividing and conquer, right? The Vikings, the Vikings were also in the dynasty too. I forgot. So it has to be seven. I'm forgetting one. I don't know which one it is, but anyway, in the earliest of times, it was about divide and conquer. So what's the best way to conquer? By breaking a whole culture spirit and trying to wipe them out, right? Because if you think back, it's hard to know what went on in like 3 generations ago, right? Now, it's been a lot more than just 3 generations. So it's been like, I don't even know how many, but enough. When it comes to this long of a point in time, they thought that we wouldn't find our spirit again, that we wouldn't find our roots back home, that we would just forget and move forward, and that would be that, right? That'd be the end of the story, but it's not. In the Hopi prophecy, it talks about the fourth world, and four in numerology is the ending, it's the completion of cycles, right? So, what was I just saying? My bad, but anyway, yeah. Four is the ending of cycles, and the ending of oh yeah, the Hopi prophecy talks about during the fourth world, there are two paths that could happen, and the first path was the materialistic path, where people go after materialistic items, right? And then the second path is a spiritual path, where people go after spirit. And one line ended, the materialistic line ended, and then the spiritual line kept going, right? And that's basically what's going on right now. But this is how I figured out that I'm the twin brother. In the prophecy it talks about the twin brother being called the white brother because he had light skin like a white man, right? Well, my dad had me with my European white mother, right? So even though like I looked native, but growing up, everyone just always thought I was Mexican. No one ever knew I was native. Like I didn't grow up on the reservation. I wasn't a part of my culture. I didn't know anything about my culture because I did not know anything about my father, really. Besides the fact that he just was always in trouble and in prison. That's all I knew about him. And whatever my mom told me, which wasn't anything good, but so anyways, I found out through this book, Animal Speaks, on how to connect back to spirit and how to find their roots again to feel like connected or like I don't even know how to explain it, but basically in the book it talks about the eagle being an overseer of all the land because it flies the highest in the sky, like the closest to the heaven skies, right? And for some reason I've just always been infatuated with eagles, but in the book it talks about like one of the keynotes of the eagle is prophecy, right? And it is so hard for Native Americans to be even gifted an eagle feather is very special. It's like incredibly hard to get gifted an eagle feather. And if you are gifted an eagle feather, it's because you have a very, very high purpose in a soul mission that like it's you're like you're gonna need it basically. And the reason that you're gonna need it is because of this an energy exchange. And the eagle like sees the highest perspective on all things because it oversees, and that's like this like that's what's symbolic about it is that like it's supposed to take the highest perspective, right? The highest outlook on all situations to come to the best conclusion. And oh my bad. There's something like crazy flying in the sky right now. I'm looking out the window right now and it's like a crazy orb. It's just like floating and it's going across the sky like oh my goodness. What? What is that? Yo, my bad. I'm not tripping though. I for real see this. Like, it's getting closer. I don't know. It could be a drone. It just got this bright yellow light, but it's flying low. I don't think it's a plane. It could be. I don't know. Anyway, I don't even know what I was talking about now. I was just shoot. What the heck? That's not cool. Oh yeah. All right. I apologize, but so I was talking about the energy exchange, right? The eagle has the highest perspective on all the land because it sees the highest and it knows all that goes on throughout the land, right? So it's very hard for someone to be gifted or even to come across an eagle feather is very hard because an eagle knows where to put the feather. Like it's not just gonna leave a like excuse me. The eagle's not just gonna leave a feather where anybody can just find it. You know what I mean? But over the past couple so when I found this book and found that out, I was finding all these feathers and the book was like leading me to signs and it's like spirit was working with me through signs and synchronicities through Mother Earth basically. And that's something I always ask myself in if if like religion always talks about father, but like we always hear in our father's name, we pray to our father, whatever. But I guess I wasn't aware of like the mother, but then I guess they talk about mother being like Mother Mary or I guess, but anyways, I came to this realization is that our Mother Earth is just as important part as our Father, right? Our Father's Son. That's where the Trinity comes in. Our Father's Son, like the sun in the sky. He is our Father. He is a Son, and He gives children, in quotation, Son, like Jesus. He gives children, He gives His Son to the earth, right? And throughout earth, we have the Great Spirit who gives life to all things. That's what Mother Earth does. She gives the Spirit to all of us. She is the most loving, beautiful, abundant, like the reason that I got so into this book and working with spirit is because the shape of the planet was in not good conditions at all. And Mother Earth showed me that the poles were being flipped, and that means everything is out of balance. The world is in very big trouble if things do not change. And I found out the best way to help heal the world is to heal yourself. And the best way I figured out that worked for me was to heal with Mother Earth. Mother Earth was helping me to heal from all my pains and my traumas and this and that. And the reason I haven't told this information to people is that I didn't want people to think I was being egotistical or that because I've lived a very hard life. But we come into this life choosing our life path or like what our blueprint for life. And I always wonder why my life was so hard. I didn't want to tell people this because I didn't feel deserving of it. Because how could I be the twin brother if I just lived a super fucked up life? All I know is pain. Like I grew up to feel like nothing. I grew up feeling not important. I grew up feeling not loved by my mother or my father. I didn't really know both of them. I grew up with a lot of pain and trauma, and then I came to this realization. And but see, this is the thing that tricked me in my journey is that my numerology, looking at my name and when I was born and stuff, I had karmic debt, and I was like, why? And I always wondered, why do I have karmic debt? Because I know in my heart that I'm so like I always help everybody I can. I always give more than's asked of me. I always do the right thing. Like, why do I always get the short end of the stick, right? And it's because I chose this hard life because I'm supposed to help heal these traumas and pains that have been going on for quite some time, right? So that is why I have karmic debt, is because I chose to help heal the world in this way. And one thing that people, the only thing that people could say about me is the fact that I do drugs, right? Or I did drugs. No, I still do drugs today. I'll admit it. Like, I'm not delusional. You can research. See, this is my thing too. Research a topic before you have an opinion about it, right? Many different cultures have used mood altering substances, especially medicine men and people who have known to work with spirits, right? You know, witches have potions. Like Jesus had wine, you know. Native Americans or like there's ayahuasca, there's all DMT, like mood altering substances are not bad. And to be honest, they can be used as a tool if approached with it like in the right manner. And I'm gonna be honest, like back in World War II in Germany back in like 1942, it was reported that a UF a extra s- or yeah, a UFO crash landed in Germany, right? And the Nazis reverse engineered the UFO to figure out how it worked, how it ran, and they figured out how to harness like reverse grav or whatever they yeah, reverse gravity engineering or whatever it's called. I think that's what it's called. But they also figured out how to channel, and this is where they channeled extraterrestrials, but what they were channeling, they made an agreement with. So Adolf Hitler at the time made an agreement with like the extraterrestrials on like this galactic trade, basically. Reason Germany lost the war is because they started digging in Antarctica, right? They dug a huge base because once you dig so far, that ice acts as like thermal heat. So there's big pockets underneath the ice, right? Germany almost had the whole world conquered, right? The only reason they lost is because they stopped focusing on the war and started moving everything down to Antarctica. But what they don't tell you is that they, in the long term, they won the war basically because they figured out how to make UFO spacecraft in Antarctica. After America dropped the atomic bomb, 7 UFO craft flew above Washington, D.C., basically indicating that you didn't really win. Yeah, you have an atomic bomb, but we have spacecraft that's. So basically, that is why America took all the Nazi scientists, basically everybody who deserved a death sentence, and they put them in very high positions here in America. That is why things are so separated. That is why all this power and control is going on in America. That's why they wanted to break the Native American spirit, is because they wanted to rule the whole planet, right? And the whole crazy thing about this is that I wasn't connected to my culture. I had to learn my culture. I had to learn everything about spirit. But once I started working with spirit, it felt like I felt used to it. Like it's like I had to just dust it off and just, you know, like it's someone who hasn't played sports in a while, like, after you just quick little warm up, like you're back in your groove basically. That's basically what happened. And what they didn't understand back then is when they tried to break the Native American spirit is that that's impossible because we have all the memory stored in throughout our DNA in each and every single person. So every single person has access to the beginning of time. Every single person has access to the future. The only way, though, that you can access that information is if you work on your spirit and your soul. Because the only way you can activate those DNA strands that they say aren't active in humans, right? In human genetics, they say they have, you know, waste DNA or whatever it's called. Junk DNA, I think it's called. It's not junk DNA. It's DNA waiting to be activated by your soul and your spirit. It takes work. People that are gifted in spirit and soul is because they have been activating these DNA over many lifetimes. Because it's a journey. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of lessons, and it don't happen overnight. But every single person has that access though, because we are all linked as think of a dream catcher, right? And think of every single person throughout history being a weave of the spider web or like the web of the dream catcher, right? We all have access to all of that information, all of those webs, all of those strands. It's just a difficult thing to access if one is trying to access it by their own. Well, I'll say this. It's a lot easier to access that if everybody in that strand is working together, or everybody in the dream catcher is working together, right? If there are some strands that are trying to block out other ones, things are not going to go as smoothly, right? It's going to be harder to get information across or see or find out information, right? That's why those who seem crazy or who who have like information that people don't know about is because they have seeked out that information and that knowledge and that wisdom, right? That type of information is not supposed to be known by the average person. You know why? Because that type of information can be very harmful in the hands of the wrong person. Or there's a lot of potential for things to go bad if someone has information with knowledge that they're not supposed to use or they're not supposed to have because they do not understand what comes along with that information. Because people with higher information like that are held a lot more responsible than someone who doesn't know that information, right? Because you can only gain that information when you are ready and when the universe allows you to know that information. So if you don't know something yet, it's because you're not ready for it. You don't understand, you're not in the position to know this because you haven't worked for it. Wisdom is power, knowledge is power. Truth holds power. The truth will always win, the truth will always come out. And that is why I'm so thankful that my journey has taught me what it has and how far I've come and how much I've grown in my journey because it has taught me that anything is possible and it has taught me how to be a leader and how to use my voice for the people who are voiceless. And the people who are voiceless is a whole culture of people, not even just a person. Like when I speak for like I don't do this for myself, and that's the thing about me not even wanting to tell this information is that because I don't want it to sound egotistical that like somehow this happened to me. But I try to use my voice for the voiceless because somebody needs to speak up for somebody who can't. And my culture has basically been silenced for and information has just been hidden in plain sight. Information has been not allowed to be expressed because they have control, right? What they didn't understand also is that love is a lot more powerful than any fear. Fear can't exist with love. If there's all love, there's no fear. And I just, through my journey, through my experiences, through working with Mother Earth and animals, my brothers and sisters, like, I've learned to figure out that I'm the twin brother. Everywhere I go, Mother Earth shows me that she's with me. The animals speak to me. The birds sing to me. The eagles fly above me almost every single day. The trees and the branches and the leaves, they blow around all the time, just randomly. every single night, this elm tree by my house, which is it would be the only tree like the making noise. And like I just knew like spirit was communicating with me. I've learned to work with plants. I've learned to work with rocks and stones because each and every single thing has its history, where it came from, how it is here today, right? Because I learned to work. Mother Earth showed me that we're at the end of the cycle because all the things from the bottom are coming up to the top. And I figured that out because I started seeing all of these stones near the surface of the earth. And what I thought about is that why are all these like stones that form under lots of pressure and lots of heat, why are they so close to the surface, right? And Mother Earth showed me over time that year after year, new soil gets brought up from under, right? So all the minerals and resources that were down under are coming to the top. And that is the reason why it is so bad to tap out certain resources all at once, is because think of the inside of Mother Earth as like the blood or the vitamins that she needs to survive. If she doesn't have the right amount, or if she doesn't have what she needs, she's not going to be doing well. She's going to be in disharmony, right? That's why a lot of these disasters happen. That's why a lot of this crazy, like, that's just why all this stuff is happening. Is because Mother Earth knows how to reset herself because she has her own spirit. And she will not let humans destroy her before she destroys humans. She knows when she's had enough. She knows when she is very sick. And when she is very sick, a lot of chaos happens. A lot of purging energy happens because that energy has nowhere to go. It has to come up. She cannot she cannot hold all of this in anymore because it's it's impossible because that's how cycles work, right? The universal laws, the cosmic laws, they all fall under the same cycle. And it all comes full circle, right? That's why the truth in America has to come out. That's why these people running America are losing their power because truth is power. They no longer have power because I shouldn't say that, because more and more people are starting to believe the fear propaganda that they preach, that they advertise every single place. It just spreads fear because they want control, right? But the more truth that comes out, the less control that they have. And it's only a matter of time before it's only a matter of time before they lose all their power and people see them for what they are, right? They tried so hard to stop me on my path using black magic, just making my life as difficult as possible. I don't know, my soul must have chosen the most difficult path because I really believe people in my family have done black magic on me. My friends, I feel like, have done black magic on me. My ex, I feel like they all did black magic on me. I feel like they all tried to stop me on my path because they wanted control. Because that's just what their soul knows. And I forgive them for that because that is just where their soul comes from. That is just what they understand, right? My soul knows when I turned inward and figured out what my soul knows heaven here on earth. My soul knows beauty in all things. My soul knows forgiveness. My soul knows it's very sacred. And my soul also knows that everybody's everybody else's souls are just as sacred. Nobody is more or less than another soul. It doesn't matter that I have and know this information and somebody else doesn't. It doesn't make me any more than somebody else, right? And that's one thing sports have always taught me is that I've always been like the captain on the team, and it doesn't feel good if your team loses, even though you pop the fuck off, right? If you snap so hard and you still lose, I was always pissed as fuck. It's not about the name on the back of the jersey, right? It's about the name on the front. I don't want any credit for any of this because it's not my credit to own. It's Mother Earth's credit. It's father's son's credit. Like I give Source all the credit. No, I don't take credit for any of this because it's not. I'm here for the team. I'm not here for myself. I have learned to put my ego aside. I have learned that there's much bigger things going on behind the scenes. The native culture in the native way is a beautiful, beautiful experience and story. And if people were to just let Native Americans practice their ways and help them heal, this world would be in harmony. This world would know love in all things. This world would know spirit. Because the only people who can teach spirit is Native Americans, because that is the seed that they germinated back when the Creator picked that for their seed. They understand spirit. India understands medicine. They understand plants. It's just like the Chinese understand plants and medicine. The Chinese also understand rulership, right? Every culture understands its own thing, and that's what each seed has to bring to the world, right? Oh, I forget about the African dynasty. My bad. My bad. I'm tripping. That's the last one that I forgot. I'm tripping. My bad. Yeah, but that was a huge dynasty as well. That actually came before the Egyptian dynasty. I'm almost 100% positive. But anyway, the Native Americans can learn about, or they could teach the world about how to connect with spirit, how to connect with all things, how to use energy, how to exchange energy. Because if you develop a close enough relationship with Mother Earth, you can start to control, you can bend elements. Like you can work with elements. Avatar Last Airbender is not a joke. Like they don't talk about that for no reason. It's because people, guys, like Native Americans or the Mayans, they had the god of rain, the god of wind, you know. The Greeks have Zeus, the god of lightning or whatever, the god of the sky. It's because if you work in spirit enough and have earned those powers and that knowledge and that wisdom to use, you can control, like, you can work with, like, each spirit has their own entity. So the sky is its own entity, right? The sky has its own spirits. So the Native Americans call them the sky gods, right? So someone wanting to work with air in the sky gods, they would seek out the sky gods, right? Someone trying to work with water spirits would seek out like the ocean, like, you know what I mean? Or like, you get what I mean? But what I've come to realize about learning through every single culture is that I've learned to work with all elements. I've learned to work with all spirits. I've learned to work with what it means to like be in good spirit. I know what it means to be in bad spirit. I know bad medicine and what it means when others are preaching bad medicine, right? Like when others are preaching lies. That's what bad medicine basically is just lies because all truth is like all things come from truth. But the only reason I know these things is because I've experienced a fucking hard life that I've had to experience all of this. The only way I could know this is if I've experienced all of these bad times or all this trauma, all this pain. That's the only way that coming into this lifetime that I can help to get past it and to transform it, transmute it into light. And that has been my light worker journey here on earth. Is that I came I came to conquer the darkness and to be a light through to the whole world. I'm here to be a light to the Native American people. And it's not even the Native American people. I I hate the fact that we even label ourselves like that. Is just because we are all humans. We are all the same. We don't need to see, when we put labels on things, we are restricting ourselves as people, as species. We are limiting ourselves, putting ourselves basically in a box that we are just, it's basically compartmentalizing what we are, making ourselves smaller than what we are, right? We don't need to do that. We need to make ourselves as large as possible by coming together. How do we do that? We just don't, we are all one, right? Love your brother, whatever that saying goes, whatever Jesus said. Love thy brother like I love you. Yeah. It's time to come together. This spiritual war that has been going on, like this revelation from these energies, is over. It's not over, but these dark days are over because the cycle is starting new. Precision of the equinox, right? That is a new cycle. That is a new cosmic cycle. So remember cycles in numerology, 4 is the ending of cycles. So basically, we're at 1 again. And that is what the medicine wheel in the Native Americans teaches, is that there's 4 cycles. Cycle 1, you got the infant. 2, you got the teenage and adult. 3, or wait, I mean 2, you got the teenage. 3, you got the adult. And then cycle 4, you got the sage or the elder, right? The revelation that the whole planet is in has it's coming to an end, right? That is what elders, that's their role, is to reminisce on all the cycles that just happened, and to reflect on them, and to learn, and to teach, to pass down that information and that knowledge so that new cycles may begin. This is a new time period that we as people haven't never experienced on planet Earth. Never. Because of how close we are to the central sun. So the magnetic grid, the energy grid here on Earth, where like they store, like energy is stored in what, they've never been touched, this energy. So this is all brand new energy, but it's 5-dimensional energy that we're in. It's loving, it's kind, it's compassionate, and it's ready to be explored. It's just waiting for whenever basically humans are ready for it. And we see it slowly happening over time. It's slowly taking place, but it's happening. And I'm so proud and so thankful of all of the people who have worked towards healing planet, healing each other, healing themselves. I'm like, it's been such a crazy journey for us all. And I think we have a lot to look forward to in these new cycles and these new journeys, these new experiences. And I'm excited to see where things go. But they talk about too, so Kachinas are basically, they're like gods and goddesses basically. And so like in Egypt, they have gods and goddesses, deities. Well, like no, in India they have deities, and the Chinese they have kings, emperors, queens, right? In India they got the devas and the man, I don't want to botch the name, but it's the snake. Um, I don't want to botch it. Sorry, but yeah. So each culture has their own terms for what. So the Native Americans have Kachinas basically, and they're enlightened, or they're the ones who just embody what it means. So like there's the corn maze or the maize Kachina, right? Who's like she embodies fertility because that's corn. There's you can produce so much corn, right? It'll feed a lot of people. So corn represents fertility because it reproduces quickly, right? But yeah, so we just had these kachinas, but what was I even saying? Oh yeah, so you could be a kachina in anything, and in the Hopi prophecy it talks about the kachina taking the eagle dancer kachina taking off his mask and revealing himself to the world. And basically that's basically what I'm doing right now. And what's crazy, another crazy part about what I was saying earlier about finding a feather, being gifted a feather. In the book, it talks about, well, in my culture, like the stories and information, a warrior would climb up a tree and pluck a feather from a female eagle when it was nesting on an egg. Like that would be a way that they would go and get the feather because that's how badly that they wanted to get the feather, and that was just, you know, or they would dig holes and lay in them and cover them up with like hay and lay in them until like an eagle was to swoop down and grab the food because they would put food right there. So they would and try to grab it while it was eating and snatch a feather quick because that's how much significance and that's how much it can do. That's how important they are. That you could get a whole horse for one feather. You could trade a whole horse for a feather. You know how much a stallion goes for these days? But anyway, I got a gang of eagles by my crib. Like a gang of them. I see at least 3 eagles. I know there's at least 3 eagles by me. And I see them almost daily. But I have learned that instead of chasing like the feather or like looking, because I spent almost a whole year looking for a feather and I didn't see one, but I seen eagles quite frequently throughout that time period. And I always wondered like, why have I not come across an eagle feather yet? Like, it's because Spirit was telling me that I have not earned this amount of responsibility and what comes along with getting this feather. But that being said, I instead of looking for the feather, because I just gave up. I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna find one. I'm over it. And that's when it came. And that's another thing about manifesting is it comes when you're done obsessing about it. But anyway, I figured out that in the mornings, the waves of the lake always blow things to shore, right? And they're always sitting in trees right above the lake. So every morning I would bike out there and the feathers would just come floating into me on land. And that was just the way that's just the way a sign that the eagle had shown me that it is protecting me and it's overlooking me in that I don't need to do as much work when I can have spirit working for me. I don't need when I this is what the ego was teaching me is that I if I try to control the situation and the outcome of things, that's when that's when I wasn't finding the feather. It's because I wanted it so badly that I needed to control the outcome or I wanted to control the situation or I needed it that bad, right? Well, the eagle had shown me that it's when I let things go, when I when I live the creator's will or when I do what I'm supposed to do, when I'm doing the right things and living like the source's will for my life, that's when things flow. But now, so that year that I found, I bike out there every year, but I found 16 of them. And like, and cause they take them, they pluck them out every year, basically. They get like a new coat. So the crazy thing about it too is that it was a baby bald eagle. It was like a juvenile or a first year, a little baby. But I have one big one too. I've only found one big one, but that's another symbol. Like the symbolism behind that is that I'm just like a kid. I'm just a kid, like eagle, on this journey. I'm just a baby little eagle stepping into my own, and that's just it. Like I'm learning to like get my wings and fly, basically. And what's crazy is that I get to see and I get to experience the same timeline as these eagles by my house in this lake. What's crazy is that there's the mom, the dad, and they stay together their whole lives. The mom eagle and the dad eagle. And even though I didn't have my 3D parents in my life very much, I've always felt a strong connection to Mother Earth and Father Sun. It made up for it. So even though it sucked not having that, I always knew that I have this love from elsewhere that far exceeds any amount of love in the physical. By far. And that is why I love this journey so much, is that it'll leave you speechless in just moments of bliss. There's been many, almost, there was a time, there's a time period for like at least 2 weeks when I was working with Mother Earth like a lot. There was a period of at least 2 weeks where I was just blown away, just speechless, just in complete awe. It was so wild. Like things that you wouldn't even just be able to make up. Like I tell people things that I have witnessed through Mother Earth and whatever, and people know that I'm connected with Earth and that they know that I see signs like these all the time. It's because I'm connected to Spirit, like very much. Spirit helps me, Spirit warns me, Spirit protects me, Spirit loves me, just like Spirit does all those things for you as well, because universal laws don't all the universal laws work upon love as well, and they don't pick and choose who to love and who not to. They love everybody. Just like Native Americans before Europeans came over, we embraced everybody. That's the native way. And another thing about my journey is that even though I don't live on the reservation or wasn't much a part of it, I experienced living with a white mother. So I had no problems or didn't feel any type of way towards Europeans or white people. But there's a lot of Native Americans who still have They hate white people, and it's because of trauma that they still hold on. They haven't healed. But as a native people, we don't hate anybody. That's not the native way. We don't have hate in our heart. We have love for all things because we know we are all connected. So that is another. I am very much aware of both sides of the story in all things. I see both sides to like I see both sides in all situations. Or I try my best to, at least in my own life, I have trouble with because I still sometimes fight like wanting to control the situation or outcome. So I struggle with that sometimes, but when it's outside of myself and I hear it from else, like the other person, I see both sides to the story because there's no wrong decision in which one takes. That's another thing too, is that there is no wrong. There's only decisions that we have with the information at the time. There is a decision, and then there is a better decision that probably has a better outcome, right? But there's no wrong decision. There's only lessons learned. No lesson learned is a wrong decision. It is just a choice that we chose to make with the information that we had at that time. Does it mean it was wrong? No. That's just the path that that decision and that person chose to take. And that is what's so amazing about free will is that we have our own personal experiences that is meant to be personal and that is meant to be we get to we are supposed to live the lives that our soul wants us to. And that's the thing about my soul path and my journey is that when I first discovered out who I was in my soul, I didn't want to tell any people because I didn't think I was deserving of it. But Spirit had shown me that if somebody else could have done this job in this journey, I wouldn't be here doing it. The reason why I'm here doing this journey is because I am capable of doing this journey. Barely. There's been many times I've wanted to give up. And that's why another reason I didn't feel deserving of it is because it was so tough. People on the outside looking in on me, like, or when they see how blessed that I am and stuff, or like when they see how blessed my life is going to be, I don't want them to be envious because if I could have chosen to, many times, I wanted somebody else to take on these duties and this job, this workload. There's many times I did not want to. Oh yeah, and that's what I forgot to say. There's a kachina called Masa, and basically he's the kachina of death, and he's so in the world before this one, he came at the end and basically he basically failed his mission, or he took like credit for or whatever. I forget the story, but however it goes is that he failed his mission and the world had to reset basically. And that's why I felt so much pressure to complete my mission and help heal the world because I knew that if I didn't work towards spirit or work towards helping heal not only myself and my culture, but the world, is that it was highly unlikely that anybody else was going to step up and be that voice for the people who are voiceless, right? And when I seen about when I looked out in the world and seen how ugly it was and how bad that we treat Mother Earth and how everything is dying and all the just the way that we treat Mother Earth, I wanted I was so okay with not helping humans live because I didn't feel as though humans were deserving of anything here on Earth. We destroyed it, we throw garbage, we kill each other, we kill the animals, we kill the trees, we kill the air, kill the oceans, we burn down the trees, we poison the waters. You see what I mean? I could have cared less if this world ended or not. And that was just my own ego self saying that, but Spirit very much cared or not if this world lived. Spirit wanted me to help heal people. But again, I had that choice. I had that free will to do it or not. But I just felt guilty when I don't do it or when I don't speak up about it. And that's just how Spirit nudges me. It makes me Spirit pushes me until I'm uncomfortable enough to do it, so it's the uncomfortable parts just stop because I hate doing new things. I hate stepping out. I just like what's comfortable. When I'm in a comfortable place in life, it's because I had to move every single year of my life as a child. Every school, a new year, every year. I hated it. So when I get a little bit in this comfort zone in life, I like to stay in it because I've never really had that. I've never had a place called home. I've always felt like a guest at somebody else's house. I've never felt I had a home to go home to. But now I know my home is everywhere here on this earth. Not only that, but my home is everywhere throughout the whole universe. I've exceeded by far any expectation that I had here in the material through the spiritual. And I promise anybody who chooses to seek the spiritual way and not the materialistic way, will experience these same feelings without a doubt in my mind, 100%. Because what I'm saying is so true, and the only way that you can know that like this is true is by experiencing it yourself and seeking that yourself. But once you understand that this is all so real, and you understand that, you will be truly amazed by what we are really, really capable of, and what we yet don't even know we are capable of. Because again, like, things are always moving forward, things are always changing. Life is so beautiful. I don't know, I give thanks to Father, Son, and Mother Earth. Thank you, Great Spirit. But They say the Egyptian culture, King Osiris, he was murdered by the goddess or the god Seth, who's the god of destruction. Basically, like in Christianity, it's equivalent to Lucifer, basically. But anyway, and death is not a bad thing. It's just death is the beginning of a new chapter, new cycle. There's nothing bad about death. The concept death is a new beginning. It's nothing bad. It's something to look forward to because death is just, yeah, that's what it is. It's just a new beginning. And there's nothing to be fearful of when it comes to death. It's just change. That's what death symbolizes, is just change. Like the leaves die, but the thing about them is that they come back the next year, every year. Just like the cycles, right? But we I live in a time of, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but we're in these beautiful times. There's a lot that's gonna there's a lot that's just gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I feel like these good energies are definitely coming our way. I feel like we see this, once this message like gets through more and more people, I feel like the less control is gonna obviously happen. But I feel like America is going to give the land back to the Native Americans because that's just karma. Karma's real. And my people were so loving. You really think that they're just gonna get the short end of the stick and they almost got genocide wiped out completely and are left with nothing? Their land just keeps getting taken more and more and more and more. Nah, hell nah. That's not how karma works. My people are gonna get their land because again, love always wins in the end. And everybody will see that the Native Americans were the loving ones. They're the ones who cooked a beautiful meal for these people who they knew nothing about, who came with guns, who could easily kill them. And in the prophecy, see, that's where my tribe has a seven. It's called the seven fires prophecy, right? And either it talks about in the third prophecy, it talks about, I don't know, it's either the second or the third prophecy. It talks about these people are going to come across the sea, and if they come with a weapon, do not trust these people, for they will take everything that you have. And your people will be left off like in a very bad like position, right? What did my people do? They still they know they come with weapons, and they still embrace them and love them and give them this beautiful meal. They still try to help them out. They still try to, you know, nurse them back to. They just try to embrace them and take them in. And then what do they get out of it? They got the short end of the stick. But again, love always wins. When somebody has felt that feeling of being nursed from being very, very sick, they remember that in their soul. So when they don't get that anymore, they crave that feeling of, damn, when I felt this low and those native people were there to pick me up and they were there to embrace me when I had nobody, their soul remembers that. And if those energies are similar in this day to where they're feeling low, they need somebody to pick them up. They don't have nobody around them to help them, and they're gonna crave that feeling. And their soul knows their soul knows something is missing, but there is something out there that could help them. They just have to be willing to give up the control and accept the help. Take a leap of faith. Give up the control, and you will be embraced. My people are a loving people. We don't want to control anything. And that's why we got fucked over in the treaties to begin with, because it's not our land to own. Nothing that we have here on this earth is ours. Not even our body. We borrow it. We borrow time, right? We don't own anything here on earth. It is Mother Earth. We are gifted these bodies to use as a vessel, as a way for the Creator to express however the Creator chooses to express through each and every single one of us. But it is not ours. Our souls are in a human body having a spiritual experience. It's not ours. Nothing is ours. Put the ego aside, put down the control, let go of control, and embrace love. Embrace support. Ask for help. It's not bad to ask for help. It shows strength. It shows love. It is not strong to want to fight a battle on your own, because it sucks to feel like you have nobody. It sucks to need somebody, anybody, and for there to just be none, nobody. It is not a good feeling, and I have felt that much of my life. Spirit showed me how to let go and let Spirit take control, and my life has changed from wanting to kill myself, trying to kill myself, to understanding so much more than what I knew at the time. I feel like what the school systems, everything about life needs to be redone, like shooken up, shaken up. I don't even know the correct term. Yeah, shake it up. Shout out to Zendaya. And shout out to Bella. They did their things. But anyway, let go of control and help bring people together. Stop driving everybody apart from each other. When when you try to take control, I'm just gonna say this, like things in your life will not flow as easily as if you just let go. Let your higher self that is connected with the source, let your higher self take control. Trust your intuition. Let go of control. Your intuition will tell you that you do not need to control anything. And you will come to find out that when you do try to control things in situations, it is not gonna go like it's like swimming upstream. Life is just very, very, very tough when we try to control things. But when you let your soul and spirit do the work for you, things come naturally. That's when abundance and that's when you are gifted many miracles. Is because your soul is experiencing the spiritual experience in the human body. That is what we are meant here to do on earth. We're just supposed to experience what the source has in store for our lives. Because then everything is a gift, everything is a blessing, and everything is loved. Because the Creator only knows love. But we ourselves have free will to control a situation, and that is when things go wrong. I'm not here to hate anybody. I'm not here to. I know many people have wronged me. I could care less. I forgive them. I wish them the best. I love them. I have love for them. I just have outgrown situations. You see? But just because I lose people in my life doesn't mean I gain them as enemies. No, I still have love for everybody. It doesn't matter how wrong I've been. Because love given is never love lost. I will get that love back that people took for granted, or people stole from me, or people used me for. My perception on them has not changed. I still see them for the beautiful soul that they are. Because when I was that person in those situations who wronged others, when it came down to it, I always wanted them to forgive me. I always wanted them to see me in a different way. But it seemed like everybody just always had this set mindset on me that I was just this troublemaker, or I was this badass kid, I was just this drug addict junkie, or I'm not gonna amount to nothing in life. Like, that's how people always see me. And when my own family didn't think that I could get sober, or I could change my life, or I could become something, I was like, damn. It felt so, it felt horrible. Like I had no one believe in me. So that's why I just try to just believe in every single buddy. I do believe in every single buddy because if I can do it, I know anybody could do it easily. Because I didn't even know I could do it, and I still did it because of what I've learned. And I know anybody else can do it as well. Have faith in yourself. Start to love yourself. Heal yourself. Heal your family. Heal the plants, the water. Like, let's heal each other. and experience like the greater gifts of life. Because each and every single one of us could live in abundance. We could all have the good things in life if we were all to put our energy towards the same goal. If we were all to work towards the same thing, people would not be homeless. Kids would have food to eat. This world is not overpopulated. That's bullshit. That is complete bullshit. We have many food that we throw away. So much wasted food gets wasted every single day. There's so much stuff that we throw away and do not use. Why we are such non-efficient people is because we do not work together. It's just that simple. It's because people want to control the outcome of how things work. People want to play God. People want to be God. But even gods die. But our souls are immortal. We live on. Those whose ego is too big, their souls do not, their karma, they go to the void. That's what it says in the Emerald Tablets. But if you let go and you seek forgiveness, you put your ego aside and you admit your wrongs, your soul lives on. But those in judgment who will fight it till the very end, tooth and nail, it says their soul ends up in the void. And whatever that means, I'm not sure. I've never been there. I don't know what that experience is like. It may just be where you go to the black hole. And that doesn't mean you don't ever get a chance of life again. It might just mean that you gotta like restart I don't know. But put the ego aside, and if you have done something wrong, just admit it. Come clean about it. Ask for forgiveness. Someone is much more likely to forgive someone if they come forward and explain themselves or or what or how they felt in the situation or why they chose to do that thing, right? If someone were to do that before someone came to find it out on their own, or if someone were to, you know, figure like they're gonna be way more pissed if they figure it out on their own than if someone were to just come forward and apologize and say, you know what, I was wrong and I did this and I was wrong and I don't feel good that I did this, but I did it and there's nothing I could do to change the fact that it did happen, right? We make mistakes. We make the wrong choice, right? But we only grow because we have made a wrong choice, because we would not grow if we didn't make wrong choices. That's where the free will thing comes in play, because that is how things evolve. There's a reason why we fail. There's a reason why we mess up. There's a reason why we make mistakes. It is so we can grow. There's nothing wrong with making a mistake. And if someone is yelling, like if someone is way more heated or like pissed off about, like it's okay for someone to be wronged and be pissed about it, but then it's another thing to be wronged and then take it out on somebody. And that's not okay. But if someone comes forward and is honest, and that's the thing about me is I've always told anybody, I don't care what anybody does to me. I don't care what you did to me. If you come forward and like just tell me, I could always forgive you, but I can never forgive like lying for some reason. Like because it's just like that's what I always told people. I said, just don't lie to me. Just tell me, and I'll forgive anything you do. I won't care at all. I won't have no hard feelings. But sometimes ego is just that ego tells us that nah, don't tell him we can get away with this, or nah, don't tell him he's gonna hate us, or nah, don't tell him he's gonna do magic back on us, or nah, don't tell him you know, that's the ego, but it's not the truth. Put the ego aside. Don't listen to your ego. I'll forgive anybody for any wrong they did to me because I see that's just a reflection of them own selves. The reason that someone chooses to do an action is not because of anything that I had to do with anything in the situation. Take me out of the whole situation. They didn't make a decision because I influenced it all. No, that's not how it works. Someone chooses to make and someone something chooses to do something based on what is going on inside of themselves. Has nothing to do with the outside world. It could be because they have been hurt before from the outside world, but that does not mean that the outside world has made the decision for them. Do you get what I mean? They made a decision based on being hurt, but it's not because you are stupid, or it's not because you are a bad friend, or it's not because you it's not because I'm not a good boyfriend or I'm not a good son. My mom yells at me, or like I get, maybe my mom yelled at me because that's her mom yelled at her, right? It's not because she doesn't love me. It's not because, you know, I'm a horrible son and she does like I don't deserve her love and that she doesn't want to get to know me, right? That's what I thought growing up though. That's always what I thought is that people are doing these things because of what I was doing. And that's what people pleasers and empaths, that's what they do. They just, they don't know because they're so loving and like, they just want to know like what they did wrong. But sometimes they need to understand that they did nothing wrong and that there are no wrong choices. And the reason for someone to act out towards them is because they have trauma and pain still held within themselves that they have not yet healed. Which again, an unhealed person who has pain, they also deserve unconditional love. They also need somebody there to support them and lift them up. Because it is much easier for someone to be lifted up, but it is a lot easier to lift up somebody have been if you have worked on yourself a lot and you have healed many parts of yourself, you are able to help pick up someone very, very easily. It's like saying if someone was hanging off the edge of a building, let's say me, I'm 140 pounds, right? If there's a 200-pound person hanging off the edge of a building, I guess it's gonna be pretty damn hard for me to pick his ass up, right? It's like the same thing with healing. If you have healed your power, so let's say I'm 400 pounds and okay, now I can go easily pick this 200-pound man up, right? Or whatever. That's like with healing too. Like if you've healed immensely or however much, someone who is just starting to heal, I can help lift them many like stages of of their healing process very quickly. That's one thing that the little birds taught me and like the chipmunks is that I'll go out and put little nests in like the bushes or like you know how quickly a human can make a bird's nest for them just by picking up a bunch of sticks and putting them in a bush? You know how long it would take a small bird to build a bird nest? It would take them so long. But I easily could, or I could easily pick up a handful of acorns and bring them to the red squirrel that's always in my yard. That homie loves me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. I go out of my way to help anybody and everybody, like, and I'm just trying to show people that this is a much better way of living and it's so much easier because so many things in like spirit is there to help me in so many different ways now because I go out of my way to help any way that I can. Not just myself, but see the best way that so there's an energy exchange, right, karma, between two people. It doesn't even matter. However many people are exchanged, you want good karma for every party involved, right? So let's say there's two people involved, a seller and a buyer. Well, a seller got let's say a seller got an item for $5. He sold it for 100, right? That'd be bad karma for the seller, right? Because that's just greedy. That's just not needed, right? So if a seller gets something, let's say for $2.50, right? Or if they get it for $5 and they sell it for like whatever 10 or like 15, something reasonable, right? That's like good karma. And it is see how it's bad karma is because they buy it for $5 and they sell it for 100. The person buying it is spending their last dollars on that. They could be spending their last dollars on something that they shouldn't be having to spend their last dollars on. So now they are in like worse off position because they're being taken advantage of, right? So let's say, see, like I like to buy and resell things from auctions, right? So that let's say the best karma is like for auctions for sure because it's a bid. So whoever gets the item, gets it at the price that they want it for, right? The seller sells it for the price that they want it for because they could care less how much it goes for. But what I realize is that I don't need maximum profit off of one item. I'm okay with, because that item sits like online way longer than if I were to sell it for like, see, like my average sale is like $100 because I don't know, I like to buy things that don't earn as, I don't know, that's just, whatever, that's beside the point. But I realize that if I don't try to fucking hit a grand slam on every sale, that if I just get what I need out of it, it sells a lot more quickly, you know? I don't know. I th- it's I think the times are coming in quickly of everybody waking up from this illusion, everybody waking up from this fog, everybody realizing that, wait, it does feel a lot better to help others, to help ourselves, than to just live a bitter, hateful, greedy life. Like, again, I have nothing against anybody who is in that place, or who takes more than they should, or whatever the case may be. I have no harm or no hard feelings towards them. And I'm just here to support them in trying to see a better way of living, or a better, much easier way. It's not my job to change people. It's my job to help people who want to change. You see the difference there? It's not my job to change people, but it is my job to be there for those who want to change. And I will always do that regardless of if they have wronged me or not, because again, it's not up to me to pick and choose who I help and who I don't. I am here to help everybody who is seeking help. And that is the message that I want to portray. And that is the spirit that I want to leave behind, is that I want to be remembered for helping anybody and every single person, because no, just because it makes my heart feel good, that their heart might be hurting less, because I know how much a hearting hurt can affect somebody, how much it sucks. And I would always be thankful when my heart was hurting if when somebody came and just picked me up a little bit, because I always remember that feeling, because it felt so relieving and so just like, wow, thank you for seeing me today. Like, just thank you. You know what I mean? It's a different feeling you get when someone just comes and lifts you up when you really, really need it. And yeah, and that's all I got, I guess. So I don't know. It's 2 hour, 1:55. I just want to thank Great Spirit for helping me to channel this, because this was very, this has been on my heart very much. And I get the feeling too that whoever listens to this will obviously see that I am not coming out of a place of ego, and that I'm not making this up about wanting to be the twin brother or wanting to be the 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 I don't even know, wanting to be the hero or whatever. I didn't even want to do this job many of the times. It was like a blessing and a curse to me. So, yeah, that's just what I have to let people know. And one last thing that need to let people know is that I have been struggling lately with some of my addictions and not some, just like one addiction of mine. And it's just like my soul picked that to heal it, but I don't know. I've used it as a tool to help me learn for soul because when adrenaline flows more, we tend to remember more, right? Because in life or death situations, we want to remember how we got out of that situation, right? So if I'm able to get my adrenaline going and then I read books, I know it doesn't sound it don't sound like a most people would not like to do that, but I just like learning and it helps me to remember the stuff that I read about. So I've used it as a tool, which I think a lot of research could be done on if approached in the right way. I've there's a huge amount of information that could be learned with the right care and right approach to like that situation because like again, yeah, I'm angry. But anyway, I've been trying to release it. I've been trying to fight it, but something always just keeps sucking me back into it, and it's just I know when things get I know when it's getting too bad to the point where like something needs to be done like now, like it's emergent. But I've been doing it for like the past 2 years, and my whole family doesn't think that I've been doing it. Like, I mean, it doesn't hurt me to say that because they've never really asked if I've been doing it because they can't really tell that I've been doing it because I don't know, I found a method that works for me, right? This is my experience. I'm just thankful that I can get up and get through the day. It doesn't matter if I have this. I didn't even think I could get through the day without this thing, right? So I'm just thankful that I don't care if I have this thing or not because I'm just glad that I can get up and get through the day. But without this, I don't know if I could or have the motivation to want to keep going on this journey. I don't think I would have the motivation to. But that being said, I've gotten what I needed out of it and I no longer want it, but it still wants me. So it's a very hard battle for me to overcome. And this is the first time I'm expressing it, but yeah, it's it's one of my challenges. And it's probably one thing that I'll have to battle for I don't know, who knows how long. But I'm in this place where I know that I don't think it's wrong to do because it has been such a helpful thing for me in my life in different areas. But that being said as well, even though I don't think it's wrong to do, I don't want to do it regardless. Maybe every now and then, who knows? But like in this moment, for a long time, I haven't been wanting to do it. Probably like a year and a half, I haven't wanted to do it. And there's been many months where I go on and off or weeks, and then I'll just randomly get this craving to just, but it's very difficult. But I want the world just to know that because, like I said, I don't want them finding out without me having to tell them. So, because then, and they might just think that, oh, this kid's delusional because, why didn't he tell us this and this or something? Or like, you will think that I made this stuff up because I'm on drugs and kid's crazy, right? Nah. If you listen to this whole thing, you would not even suspect anything. That's why you should never judge a book by its cover. That's why you shouldn't underestimate people. And something that works for somebody may not work for somebody else. It's not cut and dry. There's a lot of factors that take place on throughout life. And I'm not here to judge what anybody does or chooses to do because I have no idea what they experience in their own lives and why they do something or it's their business only. Unless it's breaking the cosmic law, it doesn't matter what somebody else does in their own life. Let them do their things and be happy for them. Be happy that they are different. Be happy that they are okay with expressing something that you may not be used to. Because we are all deserving of being our true authentic self without fear of being judged from somebody else. The reason I got so lucky is because I never cared what anybody had to not never, probably when I grew up and thought I started looking handsome because as a kid I thought I looked ugly. But when I hit that age where I just got handsome, I was like, damn, things are different. Then I just stopped caring what anybody said about me. Anything anybody said, it didn't matter because I knew what I had in my heart. I knew the truth that I felt. It don't matter what people say about you, or it doesn't matter how others view you. How you view yourself and the things that we tell ourselves is what really matters. But yeah, thank you, Great Spirit, for helping me to express the best way possible. And that was very easy. And I prayed before I recorded because I kept messing up because I was thinking too much about it. But I prayed that it just come naturally and just flow. And that's how I know Great Spirit is working through me is because I'm not stuttering or I'm not thinking too hard on what to say. I'm just letting it come out easily and naturally without interference or like swimming upstream against what spirit wants me to express. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. I love you all so very much. And I pray for each and every one of you and all of us together. I pray for Mother Earth. I pray that we all walk together in spirit so we may all help heal each other and we may all see the true blessings of the world and have heaven here on earth, because it is very possible. It is not a fantasy. And I truly believe that the vision that I seen of heaven on earth, it is very much possible and it is very much close if we just focus on coming together. I love you guys.